Hey, Heather.
Hi,
How
Beth.
are
How are you?
you? I'm awesome. So we're
Great.
going to go live in about 1 minute. So we're just hanging out. I can't wait to
Perfect.
share with my audience, my dear friend Heather Ewing from Madison, Wisconsin. You know, I started with you because that's my home state, as you well know.
Exactly. Exactly.
I didn't know if you were going to come on with a cheese hat or cheese head.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
You are going to do that on a future, one of your future running videos, right? A cheese
Yeah.
head?
Yeah, that is true. Actually, I'll be in Berlin for the marathon on the 26th of this month. So that will be exciting.
That is going to be, that's going to be like the 26th of this month?
This month.
Oh, because
Yes.
I was going to say if it was next month, it would be Oktoberfest.
Right, right. And actually, they're not having Munich, the Oktoberfest, unfortunately. But yeah, close, but yet so far away.
How long of a flight is that?
Mine is about 13 hours.
Wow.
Which is more of a marathon, quite honestly, than than just running on it. But it'll be a great experience, and it's fun. I run with my brother and his wife, and it's the Ewing Trio. We ran New York a couple of years ago, and now it's time for Berlin.
Wow. So is the marathon a big deal over there? Is it like the New York Marathon?
It is significant. There's around 45,000 or more people. And as you can imagine, with COVID and the lingering of it, it was postponed last year, then it's on this year. And so it's been kind of touch and go at different times, but we're on. So I'm really excited about that.
So how are you, how many days are you getting there in advance before you get ready to run? Like, are you just going to get off the plane and start running, or are you going to have a couple days in the middle?
I only wish I were that good. No, actually, I arrive on Wednesday and then we race on Sunday morning. So I've got a few days, which is nice to acclimate and get used to things, hydrated and
exactly.
Prepare.
Yeah,
right.
Especially after flying, you've got to hydrate. Okay, so
Definitely.
We're here. This is the first episode of Marketplace Update Monday, and you're my first guest.
Well, thank you. I'm honored.
Welcome. And what I want to do is I've picked 5 of my dear friends for tonight, and I want to have you guys give 3 bullet points or 3 updates of your specific market on, and for you, Madison, Wisconsin is your fave, where you, That's right. Tell us a little bit about you and your involvement in Madison, and give us your Madison updates for the Market Update Monday.
Definitely. Perfect. So I'm born and raised in beautiful Wisconsin. I always joke, born and raised, but never acclimated. You were smart and you got out for winters. But I am the founder and the president of Abstract Commercial Real Estate here in downtown Madison. And our expertise is really with the restaurants, fast casuals, retail, and also the new mixed use developments. And with that, representing the landlords, developers, and then also tenants at different times as well. I live, breathe, live, and work in the downtown. So it's obviously dear to my heart. And run. I check out a lot of the properties by running. So it's a great way to train for marathons and keep your landlords happy. And so with that, it's definitely been an interesting time for everyone. I think within Madison, we're a little more insulated than some of the other cities because of the UW and then also the state government. But when you look at it in total, there were approximately 25% of the leases done in the downtown versus the rest of the city. Of that, the average lease rate was 22. So of course, being a little competitive, I had to go beyond that. I'm happy to share that in the near downtown area, my minimum was 24, triple net, of course, right? And State Street, for people that are not familiar with the Madison area, State Street is like a unique area all onto its own. It's part of our business improvement district, the BID. And with that, you have the second highest rents of the entire city outside of Hilldale Mall, which is a WS development. So on that particular street, there were 30 and above. So there was one that was smaller. And what I did is, rather than just having a space that's vacant for a year or maybe 2 years, it was kind of a tricky layout, 2 floors. what I suggested to the landlord was, let's bring in something short-term, very short-term. I wrote in a 30-day right of first refusal. And then with that, it activates the space. He's cash flowing, triple nets are covered. And then it allows us to find a tenant that is more desirable, right? Someone with a 5-min, 10-year lease term, the triple net. And so it really fit the niche for just now, but then also offers that value add, which is what we're going for, right?
Right.
And so when you look at the properties also of the 3 retail leases that I did this year in that area, and there's others, but we did narrow it down to 3, is some were standalone, others were mixed use developments. So 2 very different types of space, but yet the common factor was really knowing the area. And again, from my running and being in the area, understanding, if you want to say, how far you can really push, and really looking at the space from what is going to bring the greatest value, not only to that person's property, but also the community. So
For
you
sure.
know, Beth,
I
love art and things of that nature as well. And I see commercial real estate as art on a grand scale. And with that, it's painting the downtown of Madison in a unique way, because I think as I help these landlords and developers make money, as I help the business owners make money, it's really enriching not only their lives, their families, but also the community. And the community gets to try some of these new and different foods, try unique experiences. And I really just see it as it ripples out. So it's my platform of art on a grand scale, which I, of course, love. So I would say, as far as the downtown, we are really doing well, again, compared to other areas of the state. Originally, when COVID did hit, people were moving towards the suburbs as far as leasing, purchasing, of course. It opened up a playing field. Some of the buyers that maybe didn't have the resources were able to get in. And you know how it is. It's a long-term hold. It's not a quick flip. And with State Street, a lot of the owners have had their properties for 20 plus years. It gets passed down through generations just because of their a strong investment. And again, they may not have the highest rate of return, but they're extremely stable. And it's a highly desirable area, not only by locals, but also the regionals and nationals, right? And so with that, part of the reason for that draw is the pedestrian counts. So again, really highlighting State Street is typically there was about 2.5 to 3.5 million annually.
Wow.
COVID floated through. We were down around 500,000. So very significant decline. Right. I'm happy to say we're more in that 1.5 to the 2 now with summer. So it is ramping up. And what's nice too is I do see more interest from the nationals in the marketplace because of that. And I think too, they were just kind of waiting, right? You want to make sure you make a sound investment. And so the timing is ripe where things are really starting to transition for the better, which I'm really happy to see. And of course, everyone is happy to experience that. If you do want to go out to eat in the downtown, plan on waiting about 2.5 hours.
Wow. How many of the students, are they all back now at Wisconsin? Because we all know that it's a great real estate school, Wisconsin.
Definitely. Number 1, I know we were last year. So it's a great pool of candidates. It's really nice too. I am looking for an intern right now. As you know, I have been turning business away, which is painful. But at the same time, I am looking for agents that really do have that interest in the retail, restaurant, fast casual category. And I'm happy to train, or if they already have a few years under their belt, and especially retail, that would be a perfect fit. Maybe
you'll get one of those rock star Wisconsin grads who just loved Madison so much they moved away after they graduated and now they want to come back.
It happens. I see it all the time.
Well, Heather, thank you so much for our Market Update Monday. And thanks for all of the information from Wisconsin, my home state.
Woohoo.
Have a nice evening. Absolutely. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Excellent. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All righty. We're going to bring up John from Indianapolis. Hi, John.
Hey, Beth. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you tonight?
Doing good, doing good.
Welcome to Market Update Monday, episode 1. So what can you fill us in on Indianapolis that, everything we wanted to know, but we were afraid to ask?
First off, thanks for having me, and excited to be part of this and be part of the first episode. And I think Indianapolis gets not enough attention. It's kind of been on fire, and it's been really poised well to rebound quickly. The suburban retail has really bounced back really strong due to a lot of the increased at-home or daytime population. Indianapolis and the surrounding donut counties is really a commuting city to downtown Indianapolis, and with through 2020, only about 5% of the downtown work population was commuting downtown. So that's leaving a lot of workers at home for lunch, or getting off early and being able to go out and shop and visit restaurants. So we're seeing a lot of the picked up demand. The west side of Indianapolis is really growing. Just in the past 12 months, just in Avon, we've seen Rural King, Costco, Raising Cane's, Cooper's Hawk, Chicken Salad Stick, Portillo's, for those with an affinity for Chicagoland, all really kind of coming into the market that's really following a lot of the rooftops. Wow.
So I am a big fan. So right now, Raising Cane's is coming to South Florida in a big way, and they're paying a lot of money. Are they paying a lot of money in Indianapolis?
Yeah. And I think it's, one thing, regardless of if we're in a pandemic or whatever the market conditions are, quality A+ retail real estate never goes out of style.
Especially with drive-throughs, right?
Yes.
So tell everyone what you do in Indianapolis.
So I'm John Holloway with Veritas Realty, and we are the Chain Links affiliate for Indiana. And my focus is primarily on retail, landlord leasing, some tenant rep. But my focus really is finding tenants and filling vacancy. And one thing we believe in is that every shopping center is either living or dying, and we really like to create the positive momentum by adding tenants and creating value through additional revenue through new tenants and increasing the value of the shopping centers.
What is the average CAM in Indianapolis? I mean, I know it's hard to say what's an average, but in South Florida, I'm doing work now in Cleveland, as some of you may know, and the suburbia CAMs, meaning the CAM taxes and insurance in Cleveland, are, unless you're talking about a lifestyle center, are like $5 all in. John, guess what it is in South Florida? Not in lifestyle centers.
Yeah. 9.
I have one center. It's 17,000 square feet, and my CAM's $17.
Oh, wow.
CAM taxes and insurance. The taxes are high. The insurance is high. And then garbage is a big, big piece of CAM these days. So it's very important how you craft those leases, because of the garbage. The expense of the garbage is crazy. So any last input or other points about Indianapolis, any sales comps or other leasing comps you want to share with the audience about Indianapolis?
And I think, I just want to leave the audience with just the overall, feeling that Indianapolis is a very solid market on the rise. We're excited about, the rebound here, that, the Indianapolis downtown is really a sports destination, with being home of the Indianapolis Colts, looking to rebound from yesterday. But the Indianapolis Pacers, we also host the Big Ten football championships, usually a couple games in the basketball tournament. And on top of all that, we host the Indianapolis 500 each year, which is one of the largest sporting events in the world. And then Indianapolis is really becoming a conference center, conference city. On an annual basis, we host the Bands of America with 80,000. in attendance. The Performance Racing Industry Show with over 70,000. The Future Farmers of America of 70,000, and that's really pumping a lot of revenue into the downtown market, restaurants, hotels, and the shopping that everybody does when they're in town on a conference.
I would like to go to that band conference. There's like, is that marching bands?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are the marching band kids there?
Yeah. It's you never know when you're going through downtown. You can always you'll see a bunch of firemen or band players, or you can always tell what's happening in
what's in town.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, John Holloway from Veritas, thank you for being here and sharing with us about Indianapolis. And thanks for participating in the first episode of the Market Update Monday.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
So here's a girl after my own heart here. Debbie, one sec, Debbie. I've got to take John. There we go. Show us Tallahassee. Woo!
Can we see?
I can see it. Well, yeah, we're kind of sad after the other night. I mean, God help us. Deb, even though we had a loss to Notre Dame, I considered that a W, right? Because we were behind, we caught up, it was a great game, so not a problem. The other night, big problem.
Big problem. I thought we had it. I actually went to bed right like seven minutes before the game ended because I thought, okay, we have this. And then I heard a ding on my phone, and found out that we lost. So it was just
so you weren't in the stadium. Did you go to the first game?
I did not.
No, okay. The first game, so the football fans that are watching, the first game, the first series, Notre Dame goes right down the field and scores. And I literally said, I am so glad I'm not in that stadium. Well, 20 minutes later, I was like, I wish I was in that stadium.
It was electrifying to watch, obviously, on TV, but no, I decided not to go.
All right. Well, so Tallahassee. So this is very funny. So Wisconsin, born and raised. Now I'm in South Florida, but I spent 5 wonderful years in Tallahassee. So whenever we're talking and you're talking about this place on Tennessee Street or this place on Apalachicola, like I know those markets. I know that market, not like you do, of course. So fill us in on what's happening in the good old panhandle of my home state, but believe it or not, 7 hours away. Tell me.
Yes. So Tallahassee, we have a population of about 393,000. That's with the outer lining areas as well. We're 20 minutes to the Georgia line. We are less than an hour to the Gulf of Mexico. So, we kind of sit there. A lot of people think, oh, you're right by the beach. Destin is a good 2 hours and 45 minutes, most city's 2 hours, but not a bad place to go on vacation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Tallahassee, we have 3 large universities, Florida State University, FAMU, and Tallahassee Community College, which makes up a little over 70,000 students. So sports are huge here. Basketball, football, women's volleyball, soccer. We have a really great athletic program at Florida State.
And those students eat a lot and spend a lot of money, right? And they drink a lot. Did you know a big announcement came out today about FSU and our real estate program? Oh, we are number 5. So even though Heather was right, Wisconsin, I didn't look to see today what the rankings were for Wisconsin. They're usually in the first or second, but Florida State, I think 10 years ago was not even in the top 20. And today we're number 5.
Oh, that's good. That's great. I'm actually going to be speaking for them next month.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You're going to tell them all about tenant repping and landlord repping and how to get into commercial real estate.
Yes, exactly. I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and with the Tallahassee being the capital, we're a college town. We have a lot of state agencies, a lot of professors. We have 2 hospitals here, and we have programs at Florida State University and medical programs at FAMU. So we have a lot of doctors that come out and stay now in Tallahassee, which is great. We got some exciting news. We are getting an Amazon fulfillment center here.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's right off of I-10 on the east side of Tallahassee when you're coming in. 630,000 square feet.
Wow. A lot of employees.
It'll be a little over 3,600 jobs.
Wow. That's amazing. That's great.
They just started clearing off the land, and it'll be late 2022. Be open.
Oh, that's very fast. That's awesome.
Really fast, really fast.
Amazon is taking over the world.
So that's really exciting for little Tallahassee. But I specialize in retail leasing and sales. Love working with the mom and pop business owners. I work with a lot of new entrepreneurs that have never even had their own business. So like as of today's date, I have done 38 executed leases.
Wow.
Yes.
In 2021.
Correct.
Well, you must be the only leasing agent in town.
Yes, I am. I do keep busy. Sold 2 restaurant properties, and I have over 21 properties I represent for landlords. And then I have a couple of investment income producing properties I'm about to list. So I'm definitely busy.
So if there's some parents out there, just like what I was, like any of you that are in these college towns, if you have parents that want to invest in real estate, right? They go up and they see their kids and they say, this is a nice little town. I love buying properties near a university because I get that extra daytime and weekend population that's municipalities that don't have colleges don't have. So I think they're great. I think college towns are great investment properties.
Yeah, I get a lot of that. I'll get students call me and tell me their parents, are going to be coming up and we'll look at properties, which is really exciting, And I am bringing a Raising Cane's to Tallahassee.
Yay! We just talked about that. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
So I brought that up. Land lease, and it will be probably one of the most expensive land leases in Tallahassee. They pay a lot of money.
They've been paying a lot of money down here in South Florida, and they've been doing ground leases or land leases, which is awesome.
Right, and they're going into one of my college properties.
That's great.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Okay. So so investment sales, landlord rep, and you also do tenant rep. So you're a busy girl. 38 leases signed. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever had 38 leases signed in 1 year in my whole life.
And I've got a bunch of little LOIs out. It's the one thing I love about retail leasing is, I know it's coming. It's exciting. People always, hey, what do we have coming? They assume I know everything, and actually learn a lot that way because a lot of people assume I do, and they tell me things that I didn't even know. And then I can rush out and talk to the tenants that I'm working with. Brokers call me, let me know the space is on the market before it hits the market because I work with so many tenants. It's exciting.
My sister is, I don't know if you have someone in your life like this, but my sister is always like, did you know? Said da 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 da. I go, yes, like for 3 or 4 months. But the other day, actually, a friend of mine, the former rep for Starbucks, reached out and said, who's taking the Toys R Us box in Pembroke Pines? I said, I have no idea, but I'll find out. And I went to my little, Rolodex, and Memorial Hospital, which is behind it, bought it and is knocking it down. Wow. So again, medical expansion. I don't know about in Tallahassee or Wisconsin or Indianapolis, but medical's huge down here in South Florida.
Yeah, I'm actually working on 2 medical uses for a couple of my properties for shopping centers. They're taking like 4,000 square feet. And I actually do have a Toys R Us building that I'm representing the landlord for. So
call Tallahassee Community Memorial, whatever, TC, what's it called? Tallahassee?
Well, there's TMH, Tallahassee Memorial.
Yeah, TMH. Call them.
Yes, absolutely.
In South Florida, a hospital took this Toys R Us.
Yes.
Well, Debbie, thank you so much for spending some time tonight on the Market Update Monday. And if anyone needs anything up in the, let me just ask you, do you also help other people in the rest of the Panhandle? Some people might not know that Tallahassee is part of the Panhandle, which is a beautiful map right behind you.
Yes, absolutely. So that would be Destin, Panama City, and Pensacola. So absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Debbie.
Beth.
Go Knowles. Are we going to win next week?
Yes. Woo-hoo.
Thank you, Deb.
Okay.
Bye-bye. All right. Next up is Alex Rodriguez, and it's
Hey, Beth, how are you?
A-Rod from LA.
How you doing? Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. So how many people, like when you call them and say, hi, I'm Alex Rodriguez, and I'm from Los Angeles, do they think that you're like the other Alex Rodriguez?
They don't think I am, but they do mention it quite a bit. I've been trying to work on a funny little tagline over the years. So far, all I've got was, I hit real estate home runs, something like that.
I love it.
Still working.
All right. So you're in a hot market, not just temperature wise, right? So can you fill us in? First of all, tell the audience what you do. And I particularly love your specialty. So share with the audience what you'd like to get involved with, what you do, and then feel free to give us some market updates for LA.
I'm primarily by representation. I have the Alexander Group in Los Angeles here. And I'm probably going to deviate a little bit from everyone else on the panel. Everyone's talking up their cities. I'm probably not going to talk up mine that much because I'm looking to help my clients move out of LA, not physically, but move their assets out of LA, whether it's real estate or liquid. I love LA. Probably like a lot of Angelenos have a love-hate relationship with LA. We love the temperature, we love the climate, we love, geography, but some things about it we don't like. And right now, I think one of the biggest things is the way landlords are getting treated, especially multifamily landlords. A lot of them are getting, they feel like they've been mistreated, during COVID. A lot of people aren't able to pay rent. The government, local and otherwise, is facilitating that, and the landlords still have bills to be, that they need to get paid. So it's a little challenging for them. So I've been kind of pushing going out of state, and I've been helping some landlords move their assets into Florida, Texas, Ohio, Georgia, places like that, where it's a little more friendly. And also getting out of multifamily in general and getting into triple net lease properties, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, so you're talking about like someone that might own, 20 or 30 apartment units, and they're frustrated because for 20 months there's been an eviction ban, right?
Right.
And so here you've got someone that might have owned that apartment complex for a long time. And yes, they were having issues maybe once in a while collecting rent, but now
just,
it's terrible.
Exponential.
So so you're saying sell, let me find a buyer for you, and I can put the money that you make from the apartment complex in maybe a single tenant deal in Florida or Texas.
Right. And, when you sell in California, you're going to expect, cap rates to be somewhere in the, 4%, 3%. It can range. It depends on the product, but it's definitely going to be lower. There's going to be a spread between here and another state. And on top of that, when you're selling multifamily, you're in charge of everything. You're in charge of the maintenance. You're in charge of the repairs. You're in charge of the insurance. You're in charge of the tax, property taxes, everything. Well, you get an absolute triple net deal with a big pharmacy or a big dollar store or a QSR. You don't have to pay anything. They pay everything. And it's interesting. You get landlords that have been in the business for 20, 30, 40 years, and they're very savvy and knowledgeable about their asset class, but they don't even realize that this is available. You talk to people and they see a Walgreens and they assume that Walgreens own the property. A lot of them do.
Wow.
And they when they ask about that, you basically explain to them that, well, Walgreens isn't in the business of owning real estate. They're in the business of opening more stores. So they don't want to bury their operating capital in real estate when they can use that to open 5, 6, 7 more stores. And
right.
Okay, I get it. And so it's just it's fun to be able to explain to this person who's a seasoned real estate investor for decades, and to let them know that you can do this too. And sometimes they feel like it's out of their reach. Well, it's commercial, it's a different thing. Right. No, it's very much within your reach, and it's it's a godsend once they realize it, and clients I've had that do that just never go back.
And oh my gosh, and I can't imagine how grateful that they are that you get them out of the roof leak calls in the middle of the night, right, into a check that shows up in their mail, or they get wired to their account every month.
Yeah, they've all got that story where they're sitting down, at a restaurant at 7 o'clock and their cell phone goes off. That they've got a roof leak, on a Friday night at 7 p.m. that started on a Tuesday.
Oh,
and you scramble to get plumbers, and
yeah.
They're much happier.
Well, I have a connection. I didn't have a connection with John so much in Indianapolis, except for the fact that I'm working in Cleveland and it is the Midwest and I'm from Wisconsin. So there's a Midwest, but I had, the connection with the Wisconsin. I have certainly the connection with Debbie in Tallahassee. So, my connection with LA, right? I think, do you know? Besides you.
Oh, I'm thinking.
So this house,
yeah.
Pro football, huge LA Rams fans.
Okay.
Huge. My son has been an LA Rams fan since he's 11.
Oh, wow.
We were fans. We went to St. Louis to go to games. I am now banned from going to games with him because every game I've gone to him, we've lost. So I don't get to go anymore.
You got bad juju when it comes to that.
I do. So, but he's coming the weekend of October 24th. That's what he got for his 21st birthday. He got to go to SoFi Stadium and go, and they're playing Detroit, where Jared Goff, the quarterback that just left LA Rams, either went to Detroit or Minnesota.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Okay, well, wherever Jared Goff went, that's who they're playing. So the old quarterback that just left is playing. So my son will be in LA. So I'm going to tell him to look you up if he runs into any problems.
Absolutely. You got me on speed dial.
There you go. All right, Alex, any last words of update either about you or about LA before I drop you off and go to our last guest of the evening?
Yes, leave LA as soon as possible and let me help you. Please.
All right, A-Rod. Love you.
Love you too, Beth. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. And our last speaker is lovely Terry King from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hi, Beth. I'm laughing because I'm like, well, I'm going to be the opposite. So if they're leaving LA, I want them to come to Atlanta.
Exactly. He's like, get out of here. You know that are you ready? Guess 330,000 people. 330,000 people moved to Florida in 2021.
Wow, I believe it.
We're getting them all. Come on.
I believe it.
I signed a gym north of $15 a square foot in a former Michael's space. The gym owners, a young couple, moved from California, and they had 3 locations there, and they moved here and they took my Michael's space, which I was very happy because, Terry, for a couple of years, I've been trying to lease that Michael's space.
I remember.
And then New Yorkers, the New Yorkers are just lining up. And I keep saying, it's rained like we're in our rainy season now. And I'm wondering, is the rain going to send them back or is the humidity? I don't know. I'm not sure if they're going to stay once they really feel the weather down here.
Yes. And so like you, I went to school in Tallahassee too at FAMU. And so I'm with you. The humidity ran me away because I couldn't have a straight hair day to save my life. Skin was never better, but I just ponytail.
Exactly. So tell the audience, Terry, about Atlanta.
Yes. So I am Terry King, the real estate matchmaker. I am based here in Atlanta, specializing in all things retail, leasing, and sales. So I'm so excited. Atlanta is booming. I think it was one of the places, good or bad, we had more relaxed standards during COVID. People very early on, we learned how to adapt. So a lot of restaurants, they, you know, learned how to do curbside service very quickly, and apparel companies, you know, had setting appointments, things like that. So we had a big boom. I don't know the number, and I probably should, but I think last I checked, which was about 6 months ago, was something like 2,500 people a day or something were coming to Atlanta. So it is completely booming. And the wonderful thing about Atlanta is it's really like 3 times the size of New York, right? But there's so much room left to grow out and grow up. So if you are a retail developer, especially shopping malls, even standalone buildings or mixed use properties, here is really where you want to come. Especially Atlanta's redeveloping their city center, their downtown Atlanta. The underground was recently purchased by new owners about 6 months ago. So they're getting off and running. They've already signed about 3 leases in their space. There's some other landlords down here. We have 2 national tenants coming here in the next couple of months. I'm so excited. And I'll be signing a lease with someone next week. So I'm excited about that. We have, and 3 regionals are coming here. So lots of local tenants, lots of national tenants, lots of regional tenants. It's amazing. And I knew that. I did a deal a little bit earlier this year. So I had 3 types of deals I kind of wanted to touch on. So I had a new lease deal, and it was a 2nd-gen restaurant. And one of the things I was so surprised about, Beth, is that no one's asking for COVID clauses anymore.
Yay.
Can you believe that?
I agree. Those are going away finally, right?
I have, you know, it's like, I'm not going to ask, you know, no one's bringing it up because, you know, I work on the landlord side. So if no one's bringing it up, that means they feel comfortable. They feel confident that they can get in there and make some money. I worked on another renewal, and they were paying about $12 gross, right, before the pandemic. But with everything just booming the way that it is, and people moving like further south into the city, there's so many incentives like Invest Clayton, Invest Atlanta, for new businesses and older businesses to come and, you know, make some money and employ people. I took that lease from about $13 gross to $17 triple net.
Wow.
So that increased the revenue for the owner about $40,000 for over the life of the lease. And it wasn't even, you know, there was a little back and forth because, you know, you can imagine going from gross to triple net, but the space is such high demand that we were able to say, hey, if you don't take it, I have 5 other people that, you know, happily want it.
Yeah.
Happily want it. So that was really exciting. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on is just a sale. So I have a shopping center, and first I was like, I don't know, are people going to want it? Because you could rebuild it or you can tear it down. But either way, it's going to need a lot of work, right? I got full asking price.
Wow. That is, congratulations.
Thank you. And 2 backup offers.
Wow.
So now is the time to be in Atlanta if you're a developer, particularly. So I mentioned downtown and I mentioned South Atlanta. So if you're interested in coming to Atlanta, downtown and South Downtown is really where you want to be. In South Atlanta, Southwest Atlanta, they're working on a new project now called the Campbellton Street of Dreams. Recently, they've set aside millions of dollars for existing owners, new businesses, new developers to come in and really build it up. If you guys aren't familiar with the Southwest side, think about Greenbrier Mall. So that area right there. So it's called the Campbellton Road Street of Dreams. It's a 2.7-mile stretch where there are going to be new housing developments, new multifamily centers, new retail, just a total uplift. And there've already been local franchisees that have committed to bringing their business over there. So in addition to the millions of dollars that have been set aside, they recently approved a ton of zoning overlays, which, as you know, Beth, as a developer, that can be a long part of the process and the project. So the fact that these zoning codes and procedures have already been approved and already ready to go makes Atlanta so much more attractive than it already is. So lease rates are up. development is up, money is set aside, and zoning is here and just waiting for people to come and occupy the spaces and build.
And they need to call you so you can help them. You know, I'm working on the project in downtown Cleveland, and there's a lot of grants available. People want to come back downtown. This was a project that was a gem decades ago, and I'm out in the community talking about Tower City, and they're like, oh, we remember Tower City. We want to help. We want to help bring it back. And it's really so refreshing when the community and the government leaders and the developers all come together for the greater good, right? Yes. Because and there is a demand. You know, COVID really kind of, I think people got stuck in their house way too long, and they want out.
Yes.
And they don't want to make those commutes. They're starting new businesses. I know you're starting a couple new businesses. Yes. Where everyone's an entrepreneur from COVID. I think that they're calling it, instead of the big recession, the big resignation. Meaning people are resigning and saying, I can do something on my own. I can control my own destiny, my own hours, my own flexibility. It's very, very interesting.
It's so interesting. And one of the nice things about people, businesses relocating here, and one of the ways we see it too, because the Class B apartment buildings are still going up like crazy. Yeah. So people are moving here in flux. But one of the nice things about that is sometimes people are coming from more restrictive states and cities, more expensive states and cities, like you mentioned, New York, New Jersey. And here they're like, take my money because because for them it's relatively cheap now, right?
And the municipalities are probably much more helpful when it comes to developers, right? Versus like what Alex was talking about with LA and the restrictions. And for me, permitting down here in South Florida is crazy. So we just, in the last 6 months, I've done 4 ground leases. And the reason we wanted to do the ground leases is we wanted the tenants to deal with the permitting. And, you know, and the rates have, you know, South Florida is a big area. You know, we have almost 7 million people in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Palm Beach. But the ground leases ranged from a low of 82,000 to a high of 400,000.
Whoa.
So you got to know your markets. When any of our audience is visiting markets or wanting to invest in markets or represent people in markets, it's really important to find the expert in the submarket of the market, yes. Right?
Right.
Because you might not know that, you know, you might hear, oh, well, Miami's prices are high or Atlanta's prices are high, but maybe that's not the case in the area that you want to invest in.
Yes, it's so true. That's why if you are interested in investing in Atlanta, you call me.
All right, Terry, thank you for being a participant. I saved the best for last, the most enthusiastic, that's for sure. Everyone was awesome, but thank you for participating in our Market Update Monday, episode 1.
Yay, thank you. I am completely honored. Thank you.
And for everyone, thank you. Thank you so much, Terry. See you later. For anyone that wants to participate in the Market Update Monday, just reach out to me. We'd love to. What I'm going to do is do this once a month on Mondays, obviously. And we have 3 guests ready for next month already. But if you are interested in sharing feedback or details on your specific market, just reach out to me and I would love to have you as our guest in a future episode of Market Update Monday. Thanks to all my guests, Heather, John, Debbie, Terry, and Alex. Thank you all and have a great evening.